TNA Wrestling crosses that line again, and we are now just 48 hours away from Bound for Glory. But before we get there, there was a big impact on TNA. Literally just a few short hours ago, going off the air on TNA Plus. Get that app downloaded, get it subscribed. Fans in the UK and Ireland take advantage of a new tier of TNA Plus, which for 9.99 a month or 99.99 a year, you can indeed watch everything from TNA Wrestling. But let's focus on Impact. And Trick Williams started the show with a mic in hand, talking about Bound for Glory, and pretty much said to Santana that after Bound for Glory, he will be bound for rehab, which people that know Santana's story will know that's not a very nice um, thing to say, shall we say. It's early Friday morning here, just before 7 a.m. And yeah, it wasn't nice. But Santana did come out and confront Trick Williams and pretty much said that Trick is a one-trick pony and that after Bound for Glory, he'll be bound for developmental, i.e. back to NXT. Really good opening segment. That it was kind of like the final showdown between the two ahead of their big match at Bound for Glory, and it's going to be great. That one, them two, they've kind of like I think they've done a really good job of like not having them go at it too much. We know we had the invasion angle this week, which finished 2-2. You can watch that podcast below. But yeah, they've done a good job at not overdoing it with those two. I think sometimes they can get into too many fights, they can get into too much, you know, they can over egg it, and I think TNA have done a good job of not doing that with those two and keeping them apart for the best part. There's just the odd attack here and that. So, yeah, really, really good job done. But the first match on Impact was always ready Matt Cardona against Ryan Nemeth. This was quite good actually. It was a solid one between the two. I think Ryan Nemeth reminds me a lot like Nick Nemeth when he was going up his way in WWE, that you liked it when he's got his ass kicked everywhere. And Cardona done a good one to that. And even Nick did try to do the distraction in this match. It was caught by the referee, which was nice. It's quite unusual. We don't always see that on TNA, and you don't want to see that at all, not just on TNA. And then Cardona hits radio silence to at least silence Ryan for a little bit of time. That's for sure. But yes, Cardona picks up a big victory. He moves on. Now there is a Call Your Shot gauntlet at Bound for Glory, something that we can't really predict. So our predictions will be up on our social media platforms tomorrow. Make sure you check them out. But yeah, there's a Call Your Shot gauntlet. Lots of people may be in that. Some of them may well be the Rascals because they were in the treehouse. Not about not having a match at Bound for Glory. Zachary Rents actually referenced that their contracts are coming up. Myron Reed also said that there's only one spot at Bound for Glory for three of them, and that proposes to Santino. He proposes talking to Santino. And when Wentz is reluctant because Santino has the Cobra, but at the last second decides go for it. So interesting because there was talks out there that quite a few TNA contracts are coming up after Bound for Glory, and one of those being all the Rascals, the Inspiration, who we understand that they want to stay. So that may be something that's gonna, you know, happen after Bound for Glory. They'll re-sign. Cedric Alexander was another one, which was quite surprising, to be honest with you, considering he's only really not been there that long. So hopefully that one. I know there was potential talk of AEW, but we'll see what happens with those. And look, these things happen, right? This is you don't necessarily get long contracts in TNA, I don't think. So we'll see what happens. Joe Hendry, we know pretty much. I think contracts up maybe this year, and we're seeing him transition to NXT a lot more now. So anyway, it is what it is. Now the war between the system and Order 4 will culminate this coming Sunday inside Hardcore War. Before we get there, JDC tried to take out the leader of all the four, Mustafa Ali, which this was just like this match itself just had so much going for it. I really loved it. That we had Ali also coming off the back of that incredible match with Ethan Page. This match just proved again why he, with Ali, I think the word to use for him is consistent. He is one of the most consistent performers in this business, you know, and I think with JDC, excuse me, you don't really get just how fluid and smooth and snug that he is in the ring because he doesn't wrestle too much. You don't really get it. But this was fantastic. Yeah, this was absolutely brilliant between the two of these guys. But of course, it wouldn't be without its controversy. All the four, uh, the the guy from Order 4, forgive me, I just need to check my notes. Thank you. Agent Zero with the choke bomb, Ali with a 450. They go in with a really big advantage now, 2 weeks in a row, two big wins. The system, though, at the end of it, they had chairs in their hands and they stood tall to end it. Will they stand tall on Sunday at Bound for Glory? You're gonna need to get TNA Plus. But it was that whole match was just an excellent preview of what's to come on Sunday, and that is going to be a fight, big big fight. Excuse me. Now contract signing, they never go down right. But this contract signing is between Indy Hartwell and of course the Kalani. Jesus, I need to look at my notes again. Apologies for this. Kalani. I'm just going to call it Kalani. That's what I put in her notes. Where's Kalani Jordan? Contract signing, Knockouts Championship this coming Sunday at Bound for Glory. And these two kind of like have a friendship, but it's kind of like it's a bit more of a respect thing. Kalani says she's not here to, bash TNA. She's here to elevate that championship. They've got a bit of a history as well, which is always nice when you have that history between the two. Um, but it's not going to be friendship at Bound for Glory, you know. But it was actually quite an interesting contract signing because nothing really happened. Like, someone normally gets put for a table or hell normally breaks loose. This was probably the most friendliest contract signing I've ever seen in my entire life. Um, it's an interesting one that the title had to change as quick as it did. And I don't know if that's changed TNA's plans. My prediction all along, and I'm still sticking with it, you'll see it at the predictions. Um, Over the weekend, I believe that Indy Hartwell will win the Knockouts Championship, unless plans have drastically changed. I mean, that could be that they want Kalani Jordan to hold it. It's something could happen here. Someone could cost Indy Hartwell, you know. But for me, like I Indy deserves not just deserves it. She said, she's not been at TNA long herself, but the run, everything that she's done, it's just a case of I think it's the right time for Indy Hartwell to win it. Could be wrong. Could be drastically wrong. I've been well wrong in the past, so who knows? Again, what TNA do really well is video packages. And the Hardys and the Dudleys video package that played was incredible. It was so, so good. I loved every minute of it. I think it's great. It's exciting. It sets the stage ready for one final table for both TNA and NXT Tag Team Championships. That is a new stipulation that came in. It is happening. It is official after the Hardy Boys won the NXT Championships at Showdown on Tuesday night. So it's going to be a very interesting match now. We'll be all on the line this coming Sunday. Something else that's on the line this Sunday is the X Division Championship in a match which clearly will not only steal the show, but will probably be talked about for decades. Leon Slater, Javon Evans, Leon come out, it was quite a heartfelt promo, talks about, tough times that he's had this year, but this year's been one of the maddest ever. You know, he wants to carry this on for the legends of the X Division. He didn't mention Samoa Joe in that though, which was a little bit disappointing. But he did mention Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, AJ Styles, natural with WWE partnership. But it would have been nice to have had Samoa Joe mentioned in that. Just a side note. But anyway, he come out. He basically said the championship means more than just a piece of gold to him. It's everything really. Um, and he's Jevon Evans isn't going to be able to, you know, just walk in for Bound for Glory and feel as if he's going to be taking that title off of him. So good little good little segue that with Leon. I enjoyed that. Nice little promo to round it off for him and Jevon. That doesn't even need anything. Those two in the ring is just enough. You don't need a hype. You don't need no fighting. You don't need nothing. You just let them get in the ring and let that bell ring because when that happens, it is going to be magical content. And that is, I think myself and Bully Ray agreed. Admission money alone is paid with that match right there. Um, Joe Hendry, Eric Young, no DQ, the cleanse of Eric Young on TNA happened a few short weeks ago with Joe Hendry. It's quite interesting with this because it was a good match. It was just abrupt, the finish. The finish was Eric Young power driving Joe Hendry onto chairs and getting the win. Um, but what's going on with it? You know, is this over between these two? If it does, it's interesting because it kind of cleansed Joe Hendry. Has he cleansed Joe Hendry out of TNA? Are we now going to see the full transition over to NXT for Joe Hendry? It was a very, I was surprised that Eric Young won this match. Main event, of course, of TNA. I was very surprised that he did pick up the victory in this. And that got me thinking, is that the end of Joe's time? I don't, no disrespect to TNA Impact. I don't think Joe Hendry would want to go out on an Impact. I think he'd want to go out maybe he comes out bound for glory and says, my time at TNA is done. I'm off kind of thing. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Mate, who knows? And then what's next for EY? I mean, he's cleansed TNA of Joe Hendry in that case. What's next for him? Perhaps all will be revealed on Sunday. What was a strong go home episode of Impact, ready for the big one this Sunday. Bound for glory, everybody. Get yourself TNA Plus. If you're in any country you watch this in, A, thank you. B, get it downloaded, get subscribed. If you are a UK and Ireland fan, take advantage of that new tier of TNA Plus that gives you everything for a price of 2 cups of coffees a month. You can get Bound for Glory even. But you can get all the pay-per-views, all the impacts, all the stuff back in the day with the likes of AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Shelling and Sabi and others. Gal Kim, the Hall of Famers, Mickey James and the Beautiful People. So make sure you download that, especially download it ready for Sunday as we go Bound for Glory. And we will be back on Monday with the Bound for Glory review show. So make sure you come and check that out. Check us out at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media outlets. And of course at the Wrestling Edge podcast as well. Check us out on there. And finally, this is TNA on X and TNA Wrestling on Instagram for all things TNA Wrestling. Until Monday, everybody, enjoy Bound for Glory. I know I will, but cross the line and stay safe.